Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house, and then we'll go from there. I apologize for starting a bit late. Let's see. Geek of all trades, what's up, dude? Good to see you. My man. Black Hat team, good to see you as well. We have Sustainable Crypto, Chris Hanley, Andrew Masad, son of a rabbit. What's up, buddy? Nick K. Let's see. Chris Hanley, did I already say that? I did. Let's see. Automatic Beats, Financial Failure, Offshore Miner. What's up, man? Will, good to see you. Nismo, Backwards Miner, my man. All right, let's get into this. See what we're looking like today. Bitcoin, $64,812. Oh yeah. Ethereum, 34.56, looking pretty good. What in the hell? What's up, little buddy? XRP made it to the party, 62 cents. Look at that. Almost 63 cents. It's pushing up 14%. What is going on with XRP? Anything specific? Does anybody know? We have Solana, 160 bucks. Nice. Caspa is at almost 18 cents, 17.7. It's actually down 0.49% on the day as of right now. ICP is up to $10. $10.05 actually. We have ETC at 23.57. Let's see. Dogecoin, 12.5 cents. Shiba is up 0.38% today. Pepe is actually down today, but it was up like 25% yesterday, so understandable. Renders only at $6.66. Terrible. Could be better, but I think it'll do fine. Fetch AI, $1.51. Nice. 10% up today, almost 11%. Hell yeah. Look at that. God, I don't know why does it keep doing that? That's driving me nuts. All right, anyways, moving on. Crypto bubbles. Let's see what we look like over here. We got biggest earner of the day's WorldCoin, 26.4%. Interesting. Is anybody into WorldCoin? Let me know. $2.97. I don't have any, to be honest. I don't own any WorldCoin. I don't even know where you can buy it, actually. Is this on tier 1 exchanges? I've never looked, to be honest, ever. Filecoin is up 7.4%. Look at this. Max thinks this is a sleeping giant. I guess we'll have to see. Again, Fetch AI 10.8% over here on the day. Looks pretty good. Nothing else really jumping out at me again. I guess BitTensor 11.8% up on the day. We have Immutable X over here. $1.62 up 11% today. Sand, I actually have some Sandbox. This is like a metaverse coin, right? Gaming coin, if I'm not mistaken. Ranked 95th at a $778 million market cap, 34 cents. I actually got some of this on Coinbase. I'm holding it. Shout out to my man Dan R. Actually got me into that one. John Germain, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's see, guys. That like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Flashbang, Fear and Greed Index looking like a 69. Damn. That is not perfect, but it's moving up pretty quick. Is it not? That's crazy. We went from 28 last week to 65 yesterday to a 69 today. That's a crazy jump. I'm gonna be honest, we don't want it to jump that fast. We want it to kind of slow grind up, because when you get the jumps like that, you're gonna have usually a sharp correction. But I mean, this is just the Fear and Greed Index. It's not like anything crazy, so we'll have to see. I guess overall consensus of everything is been pretty crazy since the whole Trump incident on Saturday, you know. Let's see. All right, trending coins over on CoinGecko. Let me just refresh this. We have Toncoin over here down 1.7% to $7.26. We have Toshi 34.5% up on the day. That's a meme coin. And Solidus, is that how you say that? I think it's how you say that. AI Tech, 11 cents, 4.3% up on the day. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. If you guys have any questions, just add me in the chat. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lado Staked, Ether, Toncoin, and Dogecoin in 10th place at an $18 billion market cap. Cardano is just behind it by about a little over 2 billion, right? We have 15.9 over here on Cardano. Cardano's been looking pretty good, actually. 45 cents. Man, you guys could have got this at 30 cents last week. It's crazy how much it shot up, and I'm happy it's actually moving a bit. That's nice to see. Let's see, where's Caspa? Still in the top 30. Nice. We're at 28th place over here, 17.7 again. ETC is in 30th place at 23.57. I think ETC is going to do just fine once the whole ETF thing happens for Ethereum itself. I think Ethereum Classic will just start selling in you know, and just because people don't know what the hell's going on between the two or what the difference is, right? Just Ethereum in the name alone will push that coin. Render's in 40th over here at a $2.5 billion market cap. I think Render's going to do pretty good as well. It actually has a, you know, a real use case in the world, so that's nice. All right, let's move on to the mining segment of things. I want to kind of blast through this stuff today. What the hell is going on here? What in the hell? There we go. All right, you guys know I like to timestamp this stuff. We're at 10 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity. The KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit, $66.74 a day. We have the KS5 20 terahash unit making $63.56. The DR7 127 terahash unit Sia coin miner making $61.59. Does anybody have one of these? Please let me know in the chat. We got the Caspa KS5M 15 terahash unit making $44.91. KS5L 12 terahash unit making $34.29. Again, this is all after 10 cents per kilowatt hour. This is your profit. We have the Gold Shell AL Box 2, a Dukin to this thing. Actually, Gold Shell, shout out to them. I got a message last night. They're gonna be sending me one of these. I'm excited. I'm so excited to get this thing on solar, so I can't wait to check it out. And I'll be sharing the hash rate with my VIPs, so you guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. Thanks for sticking with me this whole time. We got 720 gigahashes on this thing, 360 watts. Gonna be getting almost 25 lithium a day, $31.61 per day. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think this spike in hash rate might not be good for the project. So it could be a big, you know, is what it is. I guess only time will tell. Only time will tell. But hey, listen, I'll take it. I'm excited to just have a mini box miner that's under 500 watts. That's actually pretty decent, you know. Hope they put the CCXD logo on it. You know what, Nismo miner? I don't know. They did though on the mini Doge 3, so I'm excited to do a video on that. Let's see, we got the BMKS Max 11 terahash unit and the KS6 11 terahash unit making $28.99 a day. Mr. Crypto Mikkel, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. We got the Windminer K9 10.3 terahash unit making $28.52 a day. The KS3 8 terahash unit making $20.62 a day. The Aminer L9 16 gigahashes. When's this thing coming out? Does anybody know? Is this thing actually going for $11,000? I forget, to be honest, but it's the Merge Mining, Litecoin, and Doge unit. You guys know these machines, to be honest, are probably one of the best machines you could purchase for longevity aspects, right? Like the L7, for example. Okay, I've had this thing for at least a year and a half. Yeah, it's been about a year and a half. I didn't get it this past Christmas, but the Christmas before that, I got it. Yeah, it's been a year and a half, and this thing's been profitable throughout the entire bear market. The L9, if it's anything like the L7, I have a feeling it's going to be just consistently profitable and never in the red, which is an amazing thing, right? I mean, obviously depending on your electricity, but Carl Co, yeah, for sure made my money back on that L7. The L7 is it's literally killed it. I mean, this is the lowest it's actually been, $8 a day. It was making $20 a day for a long time, or close to 20 bucks a day, between 15 and 20, I would say. So yeah, the 9050, you guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them, paying like 9.5 cents per kilowatt hour. I think they're actually lowering the rates soon. But yeah, $8 a day as of right now. But the L9 is going to be making $19.91 a day, and that's today at these prices, with like Dogecoin being, you know, 12.5 cents. This thing's seen 77 cents before. Litecoin is only at $72. We got, what was it, like 410 bucks all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty positive that's the all-time high. Both of these coins are stupid low. When these things pop off, man, I mean, again, this is only the beginning of the bull run. That's I mean, I don't even think the bull run's really started, to be honest, but it's going in the positive direction, and I think these coins are pretty much the lowest they're going to be at, or close to the lowest they're going to be at. This is my opinion. Again, don't take advice from people on YouTube, myself included. Don't take advice from anybody. Please just do what you guys can, do what you want, do what you can afford, and that's it. All right, Gold Shell KA box. This thing, I still want to get my hand on this thing. Actually, this is the Pro. The Pro I haven't even really considered yet, but just the price is way too high, to be honest, at least in my opinion. But 1.6 terahashes, 600 watts, $4.22 a day. I don't know. I still kind of would rather the Ice River Ultras. I don't know why, the KS0 Ultras. But we got the KS2. I don't even think they make these anymore. 2 terahash unit making $4.20 a day.
So is that a joint?
Perfect. Love it. We got the KA box, the original KA box, 1.18 terahash unit, 400 watts, making 321. 321. Woo! I wish. $3.21 a day. We got the X16Q. Actually, this thing is mining ETC and ZIL, most profitable on that. 1950 mega hashes, $2.94 a day. Let's see. Insert bong hits meme here. Geek of all trades. Perfect. I'm taking your advice and not taking your advice. Smart man, Mr. Call Coat. Thank you for sticking around. All right, let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. The KS0 Ultra 400 gigahash unit, making only 8 Caspa a day, just about 7.95 Caspa a day, $1.17. Payback time, it says 7 months to make your money back in this thing. I'm gonna be honest, this machine, I don't think we've ever seen a machine that is, I guess, this profitable for this cheap. Does that make sense? Like, I know $1 a day is not much, right? It's really not, but it's only 249 bucks. Like, you go to dinner twice, you're spending that, or maybe 3 times, but you're spending that. A small family, you're spending that no matter what, twice the dinner, right? If you want to get into mining for 100 watts, this is a sick, it's a good price. Like, it really is. And I think it's like 239 if I'm not mistaken. It might even be a little cheaper, but nonetheless, you guys do what you want. I do have a link to Ice River somewhere, but use code CHUMP if you guys are interested. These things are you get a little off. I think it's like 2.5%, but man, it's like, they're stupid cheap for a beginner miner. And this is what I would recommend to anybody. And it's not even because it's Caspa. I don't give a shit about it being Caspa. Could have been Bitcoin, Litecoin. It could be any coin. It doesn't matter. $1 a day for 249 bucks is pretty decent, right? Who knows if it's going to last? I hope the price lasts, right? When it comes to profitability, but if the price of Caspa goes up, then it could, you know? So I don't know. It is what it is. It would be cool. You know, I wish they had a comparable ETC miner for this. I would buy that in a second. 100%. 250 bucks. Absolutely. Why not? ETC, I think, is going to do well, but nonetheless, we have the KS0 Pro 200 gigahash unit. 285 bucks. What in the hell? They even sell the pros anymore? I don't think they do. 47 cents a day, which is pretty crappy, but I got these things running on solar, so it's free for me for now. We got the mini Doge 3 over here from Gold Shell, Litecoin, and Dogecoin miner. You mostly get Dogecoin, but 25 cents a day on this thing, on 10 cents per kilowatt hour. It's honestly pretty shit. It's pretty ass. We got the mini Doge Plus. I have to do a video on this. I'm actually going to be recording it right after this. I have to go unbox it because I haven't even opened the thing yet. I just peeked in to see what the logo looked like, but they got my logo on it, which is pretty cool. 810 mega hashes, 500 watts, 759 bucks, 22 cents a day. Bruh. There's other machines you can buy. I mean, hey, if Dogecoin goes 77 cents again, you can make a killing on this thing, but it's priced too high. That's my personal opinion. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, scrolling down, let's see the S19K, see where the hell we're at today. S19K Pro, 120 terahash unit, still losing 31 cents a day. Mining Bitcoin Cash in like 50 cents a day mining Bitcoin. Pretty terrible. All right, let's go to GPUs. See what we're looking like over here quick. Nexa, top of the charts. Look at that. For all the 40 series. And Zealous for the 170HX. Nexa, how are we looking, Nexa? Let's see. Nexa, 14% up today. Look at that. A duke into that if anybody's into that. Mini Doge 3 is the best thing when you get it for 340 bucks. Dude, yeah, absolutely. If it's that cheap, dude, why not? But it's the point that the yield that you're getting for the price of the coin, for the price of that miner, is not worth it. That's just my opinion. There's really no other way to put it. I mean, if the price appreciates on the coin, then shit. I mean, it's, you know, anything's fair game. I want to look at a lithium real quick, actually, before we jump over to the other GPUs again. $1.32. Now, my concern when these pros come online, this price is probably going to take a beating, right? This is unless Bitmain, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like when this shit went up to $2 or $3 and whatever, almost $4, I guess, 371, was that the all-time high? 386, it says. I have a feeling like Bitmain pumped this price. I feel like they have enough money to throw the money into it, and I feel like this price got pumped because of that. in anticipation, and then everybody saw the price going up, and they all get these, you know, Timmy boners, and you're like, yeah, I got to get this new machine that's coming out, and then everybody just mines it and sells it off, and they made all their money on the sales, regardless of how much they may have lost here, but they probably didn't lose much. You know what I mean? It's a fucking game, man. It's a game. The whole thing's a game. You guys just gotta know how to play it. So I wonder if another pump's gonna be coming before Bitmain drops a bigger ASIC. That would be my guess, but again, it's just speculative. We got BTG over here, 7900 XT and Xano. Looks like those two top coins. 3090 Ti, Nexa, Xano, Chlor. A little bit of Chlor, not bad. Chlor's a Kapow algorithm though, so it's kind of weird. XNA on the 6800 XT. We got Zealous on the 90HX. Mr. Crypto KJ, actually a member for 14 months. Timmy boners for the win. You know it, buddy. You know it.
If she don't talk to her, we don't talk to her.
Just how it is, buddy. It's how it is. Ironfish on the BC 250. Look at that. I think Crypto Mikkel's got a bunch of these, if I'm not mistaken. All right, you guys get a whole bunch of coins you can mine through for today. All right, nice hash. Random X seems to be most profitable. Interesting. Ugh. God, worst platform ever. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We got Bitcoin Gold for the new coins. New coins over here, not much, just Keymaker. Bitcoin Silver. I swear I thought Bitcoin Gold was there. You guys probably already told me, but I don't know. I don't know why this is in the new coin list. It must have went to a new algo or something. I don't know though. Events calendar, nothing really coming up anytime soon. You guys know that. We went through a Zealous, hard fork, and Havens block. Oh, sorry, this is a hard fork as well. The halving for the fake Pepe coin, PEP. Already happened 17 days ago, but yeah, nothing else really coming up until 170 days from now, Varus coin, and then over a year Flux. But yeah, anyways, all right, let's move on to the news segment of things. I want to catch myself up. Eric Trump, this is the son of Donald Trump. It's an act of God. My father survived. Let's see what he's got to say over here. This is going to push up crypto as a whole. Let's do it.
Executive VP of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump's here. Eric, did you notice your dad a little changed last night?
Did any of you guys see this actually when he walked out of from like being behind with the thing on his ear? It was pretty emotional, right? I mean, I'm not like we're over here watching it crying, but just in general, like you could tell it was emotional, like 100%.
Yeah, there's no question. There was a humbleness, and you know, it's honestly, I'm infuriated as I just watch you go through this intro. I mean, my father almost lost his head because of that incompetence. Think about that excuse. Secret Service isn't capable of walking up a roof that has a narrow pitch. My 4-year-old daughter could have walked up that roof, and they let a gunman at 130 yards, which is a chip shot. It's a 4-inch putt. Take a shot.
It's a 4-inch putt.
The former president of the United States, and very likely the future president of the United States, from 130 yards away because they were afraid to step on a narrow roof. That's really her excuse. Jesse, it's infuriating. It's infuriating.
Dude, how much street cred does Mr. Trump get now for being shot?
Act of God that he survived. And honestly, when he walked in here last night, I've never been more proud of the guy in my entire life. I was in tears. I think the entire place was in tears. The cheers were unbelievable.
See, dude, seriously, it was so emotional. Like it was everybody was like, it was weird. It was not the normal, like, you know, how Trump usually is coming out. It was definitely different, like a surreal moment, like I'm alive, you know? I
think he walked in with a graciousness, with a humbleness, probably, you know, thankfulness to be alive, because honestly, in any other situation, he probably wouldn't be alive. But you hear this nonsense.
Why does everybody have cowboy hats on? In Milwaukee? Weird.
Come out of Washington, we deserve better as a country. We deserve a whole lot better than this as a country.
The sloped roof excuse hoax, that's what we're going to be calling it. Your dad apparently ripped up the convention speech after surviving this assassination attempt. And it's going to be different now.
Yeah.
How's it going to be different, and why is it going to be different?
He wanted to be very unifying. He told me that directly. He goes, I want to be incredibly unifying. And listen, I think your eyes, you know, your life probably flashes a little bit before your eyes. You know, it was millimeters away from being game over. And can you possibly imagine what that means for this country? You know, I mean, could you imagine a former president being executed on live TV? I was watching this with my daughter, with my son on my lap at home. The whole country was watching it. The whole world saw those images.
Dude,
that was going to be the image of American.
He wasn't even there. He was watching it on TV. Dude, that would have been terrifying.
American greatness.
Like knowing that's your
That's
dad.
what we want to project to the rest of the world, all because of incompetent Secret Service director and a president that does not know his Secret Service director is a female, not a male. You know, this is what we're dealing with. And then you have the personal anger that I have as a son, as a person who absolutely adores the man, as a person who would do anything for the man. I get to watch it on TV because of their incompetence. Jesse, it's unthinkable. I mean, how in modern day world can this possibly happen? But I'm telling you, the love in this room, you see it right now. The love in this room when he walked out was unbelievable.
When you hear about the fact that not only they were cat and mousing this assassin, they were allowing your father to take the stage and stay on stage. What?
I know nothing. All right. The shot being staged is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. People, if you believe that, you're fucking tapped. I am going to be honest. You can unsubscribe and leave my channel forever. I don't care. I love you guys. I love you all. But that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Who the fuck would do that? Who would ever consider doing that? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me.
What does that tell you?
I watched a thing last night and I couldn't believe how many, like, this guy was walking up. It was like some interviewer guy on the street just kind of asking people like about the whole shooting, like how they felt about it. And people were like I understand you don't like the guy. Okay, I understand it. It's fine. You don't have to like everybody. You can like who you want. You're an adult. Like, who gives a shit, right? But the fact that people actually believe that, like it was staged. What world do you live in to be that like mentally not okay? To think that somebody would actually put their lives within a fucking millimeter of a bullet to get like votes? What? This dude's a billionaire. I ain't gonna play Russian roulette with some asshole of fucking 150 yards away. Like, people are delusional. I'm sorry. I can't. I had that triggered me. I apologize, but I don't at the same time because it's fucked up.
Do you feel safe? Is your father safe for the rest of the campaign?
You know, my heart breaks because I know some of the agents that were around him, and they jumped on top of him, and they would absolutely have taken a bullet for him. And I know these people personally, and they're amazing people. But I mean, what happens if this threat was 300 yards away, which isn't a long shot, or 400 yards away is not a long shot in modern terms? You know, would they have even picked it up at that point? I mean, if they don't pick it up at 130 yards, they're not picking it up at 400 yards. So it makes me wonder about the whole perimeter around him. And again, my heart breaks because the people who were on the ground, they did their job, and they could have eaten a bullet too. But it can't happen. We almost lost a great man. We almost lost a great leader, and I truly believe a leader that will go down as the modern-day George Washington, the modern-day Jefferson. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, for people to actually believe that, it's like, what is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. Like, no one's gonna do that. Nobody is gonna play Russian roulette when you're a goddamn billionaire and you could be on a beach. Like, it makes no sense. But it's like, I don't know, you guys, like, you don't have to like them. You don't have to like anybody. Nobody deserves to be shot at. Nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you did. You don't deserve to be shot at. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're a dead low, then yeah, you deserve it. But just saying, just saying. Other than that, I don't care what you did. You don't deserve to get shot at. Like, that's just point blank. All right, let's move on.
Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz, co-founders of the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, they are reportedly now planning significant donations to political action committees supporting the Trump campaign, adding to the list of Silicon Valley tech leaders who are pledging money to the former president. Joining us right now to talk about what is going on in the Valley, Jessica Lessin, the information editor-in-chief. Good morning to you. We've been talking all morning about the video that those two gentlemen put out on YouTube, but of course also David Sachs speaking now at the Republican National Convention this week, and it appears calls by Elon Musk to Donald Trump and may have even led to J.D. Vance's selection as VP. Speak to what seems like a major shift, or at least a visible one, in the Valley.
Absolutely, Andrew. There has been a sea change. We've gone from loud voices in the community speaking out on behalf of Biden to now those voices being quiet. And we're seeing all the people you named. The information broke yesterday, the news about Ben and Mark, who had been very critical of Trump, and Andreessen Horowitz openly endorsing him. I think these tech leaders say they're being moved by policy. They're being moved by Trump's support for crypto, for AI. But, there really is not perfect alignment between Trump and the tech community. The community's at odds on immigration, even EVs, which I think is a big question for Elon Musk, who's come out in front of Trump. So we've seen a sea change, but there are many, many open questions right now.
Well, so that was the question. How much of this is a sea change, and how many of these people do you think either were Republicans, closet Republicans, or other things before? You talked about folks who are not speaking out now. Is that because they are still planning to back Biden? Are they shifting to Trump? When you think about some of the big companies, and I'm talking about the Googles and the Apples and the Microsofts, has the management of those firms shifted, or are we talking about sort of individual pockets?
Trump does not like EVs, so why is Elon supporting him? I don't know. Honestly, probably because he just exactly what I just said. Nobody deserves to be shot at, right? And the same thing here would go if it happened to Biden. If he got shot at, I would feel the same exact way. I don't care personally about the election. I'm not a political guy. I don't really give a shit. But at the end of the day, again, like I said, everybody's human. Like, you don't deserve that stuff. Like, you don't. And no one would ever play Russian roulette and stage something that could almost take your life, like within like this much. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think there's signs that the management of the big firms have shifted. But I think a lot of people, like people across the country, are maybe hoping that President Biden does step aside. And so they're not out there openly endorsing him. I think the big companies are really quite conflicted. They are facing regulatory pressures from both sides. They have concerns about both sides. And we're not seeing those CEOs speak out, except, of course, for Elon Musk.
And they both lie. Let's be real. They both lie. They do. It's like you're a politician. That's what you do. You're trying to get votes. Everybody says what you want to hear, right? It's like when you first start dating somebody, right? Typically, you put your best foot forward, right? You try to like impress the person. And then it's like, you guys start dating, and like a couple months down the line, things change a bit. Oh, you're not like that? And you break up. Yeah, that happens. It's kind of the same way with politicians, right? Like, things are supposed to go this way, and they didn't end up going that way. And now it's just, okay, well, bad decision.
Musk, who also controls the platform of the X. We surveyed information subscribers yesterday to get a slice of the tech community, and 59% said they plan to support Biden, 27% Trump. We'll keep doing those numbers to compare. That strikes me as some movement towards Trump for sure, but still the majority for Biden.
Jessica, can you explain sort of the disparity between Silicon Valley executives and maybe more mainstream Chamber of Commerce executives, just in general, with Democrats versus Republicans? And, I understand TDS, and I understand Donald Trump has got some policies that don't fit into the normal business regimen that you would think of. But Silicon Valley, it doesn't matter who the Democrat is. I mean, they didn't back Romney, really. All along, they always are on the side of a party that some would view as less business friendly than Republican. Why is it like that? And that's why this is a sea change. And not only is it a Republican, but it's Trump.
I think the politics, Joe, are complicated in the Valley if you go back. I mean, way back, there was actually very Republican support in the origin of Silicon Valley. But there's no doubt in what I think of as the Google, Obama, Eric Schmidt, Clinton era. Yep. There were Sheryl Sandberg and so forth. You had a lot of strong Dem leaders around the Valley. And I think what's happening now is you see the folks like Andreessen, Thiel, Musk, they're sort of libertarian in many ways, right, but they're ignoring social issues where they may not agree with President Trump, but, they're deciding to really vote based on a targeted set of issues that they care a lot about. I mean, AI and crypto, if you're talking about Andreessen Horowitz, that's how they're going to make or lose their money, those two issues. So I think it's very complicated, and it's hard to say if we're swinging red or blue. I mean, the Valley and these leaders are kind of somewhere in the middle on many different issues. I also think, though, perhaps what we're seeing is the sense that Trump is going to be in the White House again. And if that's the case, it would, I suppose, make sense for some of these leaders to try and get behind him. And so it's
Jessica,
hard to decouple that.
I was going to point.
That's crazy. Real quick, anyone listen to Dylan and Alex Jones' predictions about future assassination attempts on Trump? Crazy. No, I haven't. Actually. Weird. I wonder how safe Nashville is for Trump now. Yeah, I don't know. Crypto is becoming political hot button. Hard not to talk about politics now. Yeah, dude, I've never been into politics ever. Like, I really don't care about what people do with their lives. I don't have time for it. I could care less. I mean, obviously, yeah, I care about taxes and all that shit and like the country, right? But overall, like, it's just whatever. I mean, I guess just being ignorant about it, like, my one vote isn't going to change things, right? So I just like, whatever. I mean, it could, obviously, if you just have enough people like me, right? But overall, like, you can't ignore it at this point. Like, you have to kind of just whatever, embrace it, right? Because it's going to be good for crypto as a whole, and that's mainly what I'm focused on. So I'm happy about that. But again, you guys know how I feel about the rest of it.
Point out, it was right after the shooting that you saw some business leaders come out and immediately throw their support behind him. Maybe they were counting on the idea that would give him an even bigger bump, and thinking, okay, it's inevitable now. I want to make sure I get my chips on the table and get some credit for supporting him now.
I'm gonna be honest though, like, I would be so nervous to walk out in public, like, being him now, or just speaking in general, like having rallies and shit. Like, oh my God, it'd be crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, Musk's endorsements was minutes, or, you know, right in the thick of the assassination attempt.
He was close already, he's still right. He's still mad about the EV meeting where Mary Barra, she sold like 3 cars and Elon wasn't there.
I mean, that's a huge, it's fascinating to me. I mean, Elon's business, his fortunes rise and fall on the future of Tesla. You know, Trump and Vance have been very clear that they, think that EV subsidies shouldn't be in the cards. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, do you think that his thought about needing or wanting subsidies at this point, given the success of that company relative to the others, it basically makes it almost impossible for everybody else if they don't have the subsidies? Is that how you see this? Do you think you think it's a broader philosophical view?
I think it's I think Musk is being practical in some ways, but the EV question is not resolved. I mean, competition. I mean, many people think it's a race to the bottom with commoditization for that business. So I don't think he can be feeling confident in that regard, but perhaps he's thinking he can change his mind. And that might be why he put his cards on the table. And
then the other big one this morning, Elon Musk saying he's leaving California. I think we might have known that sort of a little bit in the back of our heads, but officially over this new law around gender identity in the state. Do you think this is going to lead to other companies moving officially to places like Texas?
We've seen a trickle, and I think that will continue. I've got to say, Elon has a knack for timing these moves that probably took 5 years to the 5 minutes when there's a headline in the news. You don't move a rocket factory's headquarters overnight. It's hard to say, Andrew. I think we're seeing some of that. There's movement outside of California for sure. But these days, there's actually a lot of activity, especially startup activity, back in the city. And I know many a venture capitalist who has decamped to Austin and come back. So I think we'll see in terms of the macro. But Elon's made it clear that he won't be in California. I think we were all expecting that.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Crypto news. CNBC Crypto World. Ether climbs as investors grow optimistic about imminent spot Ethereum ETF approvals. Let's get into it, guys. That like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Today, Bitcoin crosses $64,000 as the cryptocurrency continues to move higher. Craig Wright, who claimed to be the inventor of Bitcoin, has been referred to UK prosecutors for alleged perjury.
Why would you? I still have never understood that guy, ever. Like, why would you want that bullshit. I don't understand it.
And Brian Dixon, CEO of Off the Chain Capital, breaks down how an approval of spot Ether ETFs could impact the trajectory of crypto prices.
It drives me nuts. Weird. I don't get it.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos. Crypto prices in the green once again this morning, with Bitcoin trading close to $65,000 as of noon Eastern. Ether jumped more than 3% to $3,477, and Solana shot up more than 5%. Now, prices jumped following a report from Reuters yesterday evening, citing 3 industry sources as saying that the SEC has given preliminary approval to at least 3 of the 8 asset managers hoping to launch spot Ether ETFs to begin trading next Tuesday. Now, according to Reuters, the approval hinges on applicants submitting final offering documents to regulators before the end of the week, with one source reportedly saying that all are expected to launch at the same time, just like when spot Bitcoin ETFs began trading in January. BlackRock, VanEck, and Franklin Templeton are among the asset managers whose applications for spot Ether ETFs could get the green light from the SEC next week. That's reportedly expected to happen on Monday afternoon, with trading in the products expected to begin the next day. We reached out to the SEC for comment, but didn't hear back right away. Meantime, according to Citi Research, spot Ether ETFs could see net inflows of up to $5.4 billion in the first 6 months after they launch. The research says that spot ETFs could see 30 to 35% of spot Bitcoin ETF flows, but that the distribution is skewed to the downside. Now, focusing on Bitcoin, last week, the cryptocurrency was trading below the $60,000 level, but Bitcoin's value has risen since the failed assassination attempt of Trump on Saturday. Investors see an increased chance of a Trump victory in the upcoming presidential election, impacting.
Did he have his ear taped up here? Like, you could just, I think this is it. I think this is when the rally after he got shot, right? Like, you could just tell, like, I don't know, something about the way he looks, like, you could just tell he's like way more humble now.
A range of markets, including crypto, given that Trump's recent crypto stance has really picked up momentum in
right? This is like a cocky, like he looks cocky here, but he didn't look like that on the rally after the day he got shot. You know what I mean?
Last few months. Now, on top of that, yesterday, the presumptive Republican nominee announced that he chose crypto-friendly Senator.
Like, I don't know. He just doesn't look like he usually looks.
Senator J.D. Vance as his vice presidential candidate. Now, in 2022, Vance disclosed that he held between $100,001 to $250,000 of Bitcoin on Coinbase.
Jesus. What the you hold that much on Coinbase? What in the hell?
Let's talk about the top stories. The CFTC has agreed to a $4 billion settlement with FTX, according to a court filing from Friday. The proposed settlement, which still needs court approval, would be a dramatic cut from the CFTC's claim amounting to $52.2 billion in restitution, disgorgement, and civil monetary penalties in connection with civil enforcement actions the agency filed against FTX and its executives. The debtors say the CFTC is the, quote, most significant single creditor in these Chapter 11 cases, and that the debtors face very substantial potential liability to the CFTC. The regulator charged FTX, its founder Sam Bankman-Fried, and its sister hedge fund Alameda Research in December 2022, alleging that the crypto exchange commingled customer funds and that SBF violated the Commodities Exchange Act. According to Friday's filing, the proposed settlement would avoid the cost and delay of further litigation and, quote, mitigates a significant risk of diminution of the assets available for distribution to creditors. Next, today, Craig Wright, the man who claimed he invented Bitcoin, was referred to British prosecutors for allegedly committing perjury. Now, back in March, a UK judge ruled that the Australian computer scientist is not Satoshi Nakamoto as a result of a lawsuit brought forward by Jack Dorsey-backed Crypto Open Patent Alliance to prevent him from claiming himself as Bitcoin's inventor and suing Bitcoin developers. So now a British High Court judge has said that he has no doubt that he should refer relevant papers to determine whether Wright should be prosecuted for what he calls wholesale perjury and forgery of documents, to determine whether an arrest warrant should be issued and if extradition should be pursued. Wright's holding company, Tulip Trading, was not immediately available for comment when contacted by CNBC.
So is that a joint?
All right, back to markets for our main story. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Brian Dixon, CEO of Off the Chain Capital, about what factors are impacting crypto prices the most right now and what a potential imminent approval of spot ETH ETFs means for the price of digital assets in the near term.
This week kicked off with Bitcoin back above $60,000, with the cryptocurrency trading close to the $65,000 level early this afternoon. Now, Bitcoin's value started rising over the weekend following the failed assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Do you think investors are seeing an increased chance of a Trump victory in the upcoming presidential election? And do you think that's impacting crypto markets right now, especially after he announced crypto-friendly Senator J.D. Vance as his vice presidential candidate yesterday?
Yes, I do. I think that after the failed assassination attempt over the weekend, that we are definitely seeing a much stronger opportunity for people to support Trump. And we're seeing this right now with the tremendous support that's pouring out over him across the nation. And I do think people are looking at that as an opportunity for the support with the former president. Now, like you noted, he has selected a pro-crypto VP candidate for the race, J.D. Vance. We know from the disclosures that J.D. Vance holds Bitcoin as one of his assets as part of his portfolio. We've also seen Trump do a huge positive shift in the stance that he's taken on Bitcoin and digital assets in recent months compared to his last presidency. And with that, Trump will be speaking next week at the Bitcoin conference. And so it's very exciting to see that his team has actually confirmed this and that he will be
Dude, hell yeah. Hadouken to that. He's going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference.
There presenting to a very large audience of diehard Bitcoiners from around the world.
Now, other big news we're expecting soon, whether spot Ether ETFs will get the green light to start trading here in the U.S. That announcement could happen any day now. In fact, SEC Chair Gary Gensler told CNBC last month that spot ETH ETFs should be fully approved sometime over the summer. And Reuters reported yesterday, citing sources, that these products will likely begin trading on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
What would a potential approval do to the price of Ether and other cryptocurrencies in the near term and longer term?
Well, if we look what happened with Bitcoin when the ETF was passed in February of this year, we saw a tremendous inflow of new capital into the asset. And so if history repeats itself, and we see this with the Ethereum ETFs, if they are indeed passed next week, I would anticipate we're going to see an increase in inflows to the Ethereum ETFs, which would likely drive price. Now, what I'm excited about,
you know, I think the price of Ethereum should go up. Like, you know how Bitcoin had a big jump, and then obviously we had a rip backwards, right? Ethereum's price is so much cheaper. It's easier for people to hold versus Bitcoin, right?
Here is that the Ethereum ETF is now one more digital asset that will have a regulated on-ramp for retail and institutional investors to get exposure to the asset in the United States. And so this will create an easier on-ramp. It'll remove friction from getting exposure to the asset. So in time, I believe this will drive price. And it's also a positive step in the right direction for additional ETFs with new digital assets in the future to be approved.
Yeah, I think Ethereum to 10K, said Alien Black in the chat. Yeah, I think between 5 and 7 is definitely where it's going to be, but we could for sure go to 10K.
And many believe that the approval of spot Ether ETFs would mark another major win for the crypto industry's campaign to push digital assets into the mainstream. It sounds like you hold that view, but do you? And what do you think an approval would mean for the industry as a whole? And how did the launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the U.S. 6 months ago change crypto sentiment?
Well, is anybody else actually, if we didn't have the election going on, does anybody else feel that the Ethereum ETF would never happen? That's just kind of my thinking, right? Proof of stake. Like, how the hell is that not? I don't understand it. But if the election wasn't happening, I don't think the Ethereum ETF would get by, right? Now is the time to get in all those other ETF applications if you want more. That would be my personal opinion. Like, get them in now and see what happens. Hopefully they get pushed before the election.
So I think the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs changed crypto sentiment in that it's now becoming much more formalized with the traditional financial system, because as a retail or institutional investor, you can log into your traditional brokerage account on Fidelity or Interactive Brokers or wherever you trade stocks and securities at, and you can now acquire Bitcoin via this ETF. And in terms of it creating more adoption to the larger digital asset network, I think this is very, very positive, because as Ethereum gets approved, one of the arguments for quite some time is Ethereum a security or a commodity? And if we're seeing Ethereum approved as an ETF, I think it's very likely that we could start to see other digital assets approved as well. Things like Solana, things potentially like Binance in the future. It really opens the door in terms of what the digital asset space can do in launching these products to the general public and to larger institutions in a regulated fashion. And I believe what that's going to do long term is just enhance the adoption rate of the whole market.
Is that his dad? That GigaChad guy? He looks like him.
Expanding on what you just said, late last month, VanEck became the first asset manager to file an application for a spot Solana ETF in the U.S. And this month, SABO filed a request with the SEC to list ETFs tied to the cryptocurrency. According to SEC rules, the agency has 240 calendar days to decide whether to approve or deny SABO's 19B4 application to list the products from VanEck and 21 shares, putting the deadline in March 2025. So what do you think will happen there? What can we expect?
I think it really depends on how the SEC continues toward the digital asset space, because historically they've been very restrictive in approving these types of products. But what we saw with the Ethereum ETF is a complete 180-degree shift, because it looks like the SEC rather proactively reached back out to the filers of these products and wanted them to complete accelerated approval process documentation so that they could actually get these products live. I mean, that was a big difference from the Bitcoin ETFs, which took Grayscale over 10 years to get their product approved, and they ultimately had to pursue litigation against the SEC and have the courts decide to have the SEC re-review this product so it could go live in the markets, and then they approved all the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, how the SEC did that 180 on Ethereum, if that's the direction they continue to head, I would likely see a lot of these products hopefully get approved sooner than later.
Now, the last time you were on the show was about a month ago, where you discussed spot Bitcoin ETFs, noting that there were tremendous inflows early on, and you forecasted that we'll see much larger allocations toward the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Do you still feel that way? And what do you think the trajectory for spot Ether ETF allocations will be if those products do, in fact, get approved soon as expected?
I do stand by my statements that I think we'll see much larger allocations towards the tail end of this year, early next year with the Bitcoin ETFs. The reasoning for that, like I've noted before, is that the largest investors in the world have very long due diligence timelines. So the sovereign wealth funds, the pension plans, the endowments, these groups can take 12 to 18 months to complete their due diligence timelines, pass through their investment committees, educate their clients before they can ultimately make large allocations. And I think that's what we're still waiting on. I think with what occurred with Trump over this last weekend is actually maybe going to accelerate the process of digital assets and more allocations to Bitcoin. And we're seeing that right now with the inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. I would expect the same thing to happen in regard to the Ethereum ETFs. I think once those will launch, we'll see an inflow initially. We'll see a big bump of allocations happening. And then for the larger institutional investors, that's going to probably take 12 to 18 months to go through their diligence timelines again before we could potentially see some larger allocations from those groups of investors.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today.
Interesting. All right, real quick, Mr. Crypto KJ, thanks for putting this in the chat. To check out the Bitcoin conference 2024 speakers, Donald Trump, we got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Kathy Wood, Michael Saylor, Russell Brand, Edward Snowden, and Bill Miller. Is that the fourth? That's the fourth, right? Yeah, I think it's the fourth. Why is Russell Brand going on there? Strange. Not a huge fan, personally, but nonetheless, that's kind of cool. A lot of big speakers there, actually. All right, let's move on to the video segment of things I want to watch. This Altcoin Daily. Crypto's about to explode. Let's see how shilly this gets. Let's do it.
If we're seeing Ethereum approved as an ETF, I think it's very likely that we could start to see other digital assets approved as well. Things like Solana, things potentially like Binance in the future.
The crypto markets are rallying hard. Why? Why is this happening? Number one, Donald Trump.
Bitcoin's value has risen since the failed assassination attempt of Trump on Saturday. Trump's recent crypto stance has really picked up momentum in the last few months.
Whoa, what? Hold on. What are these bulletproof glass things? Is that what that is? Does anybody know? What is that? Or is that just help keep the noise? Weird. I never noticed those, actually. No teleprompter. Those are teleprompters? What? Really? Interesting. Oh, they're in front of him? Strange.
Crypto stance has really picked up momentum in the last few months.
I think with what occurred with Trump over this last weekend is actually maybe going to accelerate the process of digital assets and more allocations to Bitcoin. And we're seeing that right now.
Donald Trump.
A question, why don't they do that, like bulletproof like things around your head? You can't get shot. Like just something. I mean, it might be a good idea.
And his pro-crypto VP pick.
He has selected a pro-crypto VP candidate for the race, JD Vance. We know from disclosures that JD Vance holds Bitcoin as one of his assets as part of his portfolio.
2022, Vance disclosed that he held between $100,001 to $250,000 of Bitcoin on Coinbase.
Smash the like button, guys. More people need to know about this. To be honest, his VP pick seems very pro-crypto. He loves crypto, and he hates bad crypto regulation. What more could we ask for? Listen here. Listen to what he says about Gary Gensler.
There's a bulletproof teleprompters for the win.
Candidate for worst person, in my view, at least in terms of my substantive disagreements, I'm sure he's like a nice guy, is Gary Gensler. Okay,
Oh,
so Gary
shit.
Gensler is sort of the complete opposite of my opinion. There are two problems that I have with Gary. One of which is that I think he wants to inject politics way too much into the actual business of securities in the United States of America. But in some ways, the more fundamental issue, or at least the most relevant issue for this particular conference is the approach that Gary has taken to regulating blockchain and crypto seems to be almost the exact opposite of what it should be. The question the SEC seems to ask in regulating crypto is this a token with utility? And if it's a token with utility, then they seem to want to ban it. And if it's a token without utility, they don't seem to care. I almost think we should be the opposite here, right? I worry about financialization. I worry about, frankly, whether a lot of the crypto stuff is fundamentally fake. But if a token actually has utility, that's the sort of thing that, by all means, regulate it. By all means, be careful about, how consumers interact with it. But you don't want to just get rid of this stuff. And here's where I really, really worry about this is a lot of the newest challengers to the social media incumbents of 2024 are going to require some blockchain technology to make their business work. Maybe they'll require a token that supports verification. There are all of these ways in which the companies, when I talk to sort of friends who are still in the VC industry, the companies that are most exciting to them, they're doing actual things in communications in the 21st century, in 2024, I should say. Those companies very often rely on high utility tokens to do things like verification. Well, if we're not making it possible to do verification, then we're going to make it really hard to challenge the existing incumbents in the space.
Not to mention, after the failed assassination attempt, one of the very first things Trump did was confirm that he'd still headline the Bitcoin conference in Nashville. Use code ALTCOINDAILY for 10% off tickets.
Trump will be speaking next week at the Bitcoin conference. And so it's very exciting to see that his team has actually confirmed this and that he will be there presenting to a very large audience of diehard Bitcoiners from around the world.
Reason number 2.
God, and like the other thing about the freaking people saying that thing's staged, I know I'm still on it and I apologize, but dude, somebody lost their life in the stands. Like a random guy. You know what I mean? Like, that is just like, man, my heart goes out to that family. It's so sad. It's so freaking sad.
2. Why crypto is pumping so hard. The spot
Like,
Ethereum
people are
ETFs
delusional,
are
man.
days away from full approval and launch. Mark your calendars. Brian Dixon, CEO of Off-Chain Capital, perfectly articulate what comes next regarding the spot Ethereum ETFs and what this means for the industry. Listen closely or get left behind.
What would a potential approval do to the price of Ether and other cryptocurrencies in the near term and longer term?
Well, if we look what happened with Bitcoin when the ETF was passed in February of this year, we saw a tremendous inflow of new capital into the asset. And so if history repeats itself, and we see this with the Ethereum ETFs, if they are indeed passed next week, I would anticipate we're going to see an increase in inflows to the Ethereum ETFs, which would likely drive price. Now, what I'm excited about here is that the Ethereum ETF is now one more digital asset that will have a regulated on-ramp for retail and institutional investors to get exposure to the asset in the United States. And so this will create an easier on-ramp. It'll remove friction from getting exposure to the asset. So in time, I believe this will drive price. And it's also a positive step in the right direction for additional ETFs with new digital assets in the future to be approved.
So the Bitcoin ETFs changed everything, i.e. opened the doors for the Ethereum ETFs. The Ethereum ETFs then changed everything, opening the doors for the altcoin ETFs. This is all happening so fast. What altcoin ETF do you think comes next?
I think the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs changed crypto sentiment in that it's now becoming much more formalized with the traditional financial system, because as a retail or institutional investor, you can log into your traditional brokerage account on Fidelity or Interactive Brokers or wherever you trade stocks and securities at, and you can now acquire Bitcoin via this ETF. And in terms of it creating more adoption to the larger digital asset network, I think this is very, very positive, because as Ethereum gets approved, one of the arguments for quite some time is Ethereum a security or a commodity? And if we're seeing Ethereum approved as an ETF, I think it's very likely that we could start to see other digital assets approved as well. Things like Solana, things potentially like Binance in the future. It really opens the door in terms of what the digital asset space can do in launching.
Hold on. Did you say Binance? You said Solana and Binance? Is that what he said? I gotta rewind that. I'm sorry. I have to listen to that again. Sorry.
Adoption to the larger digital asset network, I think this is very, very positive, because as Ethereum gets approved, one of the arguments for quite some time is Ethereum a security or a commodity? And if we're seeing Ethereum approved as an ETF, I think it's very likely that we could start to see other digital assets approved as well. Things like Solana, things potentially like Binance in the future.
Yeah, wait, hold on. How is that going to happen? I don't think the Binance thing will happen. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be weird as hell, right? They got rid of Binance US, right? So it's like, well, it's not gone, right? It's just crypto-only exchange, no off-ramps anymore. That would be weird. That would be very weird if they had a BNB ETF. Yeah, I knew what he meant, but sorry, I didn't clarify that. But yeah, no, like to have BNB as an ETF, I don't know. That would be very strange.
It really opens the door in terms of what the digital asset space can do in launching these products to the general public and to larger institutions in a regulated fashion. And I believe what that's going to do long term is just enhance the adoption rate of the whole market.
Yeah.
Like I'd be shocked if BNB happened.
Solana ETF seems most likely to come next. And I think that the market is looking towards this. And this is the #3 reason why crypto is pumping.
Historically, they've been very restrictive in approving these types of products. But what we saw with the Ethereum ETF is a complete 180-degree shift, because it looks like the SEC rather proactively reached back out to the filers of these products and wanted them to complete accelerated approval process documentation so that they could actually get these products live. I mean, that was a big difference from the Bitcoin ETFs, which took Grayscale over 10 years to get their product approved, and they ultimately had to pursue litigation against the SEC and have the courts decide to have the SEC re-review.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. What in the hell?
Live in the markets, and then they approved all the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, how the SEC did that 180 on Ethereum, if that's the direction they continue to head, I would likely see a lot of these products hopefully get approved sooner than later.
And by the way, just to cap everything off, the largest buyers of Bitcoin ETFs and all ETFs are still to come. Second half of this year, next year. Do you realize how this works?
Crazy.
I'm so bullish. Brian Dixon explains.
I think we'll see much larger allocations towards the tail end of this year, early next year with the Bitcoin ETFs. The reasoning for that, like I've noted before, is that the largest investors in the world have very long due diligence timelines. So the sovereign wealth funds, the pension plans, the endowments, these groups can take 12 to 18 months to complete their due diligence timelines, pass through their investment committees, educate their clients before they can ultimately make large allocations. And I think that's what we're still waiting on. I think with what occurred with Trump over this last weekend is actually maybe going to accelerate the process of digital assets and more allocations to Bitcoin. And we're seeing that right now with the inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. I would expect the same thing to happen in regard to the Ethereum ETFs. I think once those will launch, we'll see an inflow initially. We'll see a big bump of allocations happening. And then for the larger institutional investors, that's going to probably take 12 to 18 months to go through their diligence timelines again before we could potentially see some larger allocations from those groups of investors.
Amazing. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for not chilling too much today. That was pretty impressive. All right, getting into the recap segment of things. If anybody's just joining, let's do it. Bitcoin $65,000. Look at that. 65.59. Hell yeah. Ethereum 34.58. Again, XRP finally showed up to the party. What's up, little buddy? 61 cents over here. We got Solana 160 bucks. Dude, a Solana ETF would be sick. It'd be sick. And the price would just be insane. We have ETC $23. Let's see. ICP is at 10 bucks, up 5.42% today. APT is up $7.29, up 6.23%. CASP is just under 18 cents at 17.8, still looking extremely strong in my opinion. I really wonder what that coin's going to do during the bull run. We have Render at $6.82, up 6.45%. Fetch AI is up to $1.53, 10.69%. Yeah, that's really it. It's all jumping out at me, I guess. WorldCoin 27% up on the day. Crazy. Absolutely. This is the biggest earner of the week is. Damn, everything's up. Man, WorldCoin 58% so far in the week. Wow. Perfect. I don't know if anybody's into that, but that's crazy. Crazy. Anything else? Jasmy 27.8%. Near 34.6. Near Protocol might be a good one actually to get some and just hold it. 22.7 on BitTensor over here. Nice. That's crazy. Again, if you guys are just joining, Flashbang Fear and Greed Index 69 over here. We were at fear of 28 last week, so the sentiment has changed drastically since the assassination attempt or whatever. I'm assuming that's what really drove this entire thing to go crazy. But everybody's talking about pro crypto and all that stuff with you know, the whole Trump thing. So it's yeah, I mean, it's inevitable we'll see some sort of pump, right? Ethereum to the moon. Dude, I think Ethereum's going to do very well. I think 5 to 7K easily. 10K is definitely not out of the question, in my opinion, in the bull run. But what's the all-time high? 4,800. Man, it went up to 4,800. Damn. I didn't realize it went that high. I thought it was 43. 48.78. 29.1% down about 2 years ago. Crazy. Every bull run, guys, every bull run we have a run up. Look at this. We have a run up here before the bull run. I wonder if we're like right here. Look at these two peaks. Peak and then a small one. Peak and then a small one. I wonder if that's kind of where we're at right now. Then we're gonna see a moonshot. I don't know. Ethereum though, it looks extremely confident. The whole chart overall is just extremely confident. I think it's gonna do decent. I hold a decent amount of Ethereum, so full transparency. Yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. I have to go record. I got things to do. Hopefully you guys have a great, happy, and safe Wednesday. I would appreciate it if you guys could hit the like button. Doesn't take too much. Thank you very much. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I will catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, most likely around 9:15, 9:30, just because working off one vehicle, truck's in the shop, so I gotta drive everybody everywhere, and then I get to do what I gotta do. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you soon. Peace out. Let's go raid Miss Randy Hipper. I lied. She's not live anymore. All right. Peace out.